The Netflix original movie Anon is basically like Minority Report. But is it any good? Anon stars Clive Owen and Amanda Seyfried, and it takes place in a slightly futuristic world. We have a lot of retro-looking things. It's not really too much futuristic, really. I mean, cars are actually older cars, like an old Gran Torino or something like that, but they've all been retrofitted to run on hydrogen. But anyway, that's really beside the point. Everybody is implanted in their eye or in their brain with this heads-up display. And so basically, as anybody walks around, they see different advertisements, they see things popping out of buildings, they see faces, and it registers memories and tells you who they are. It's just a little distracting, I think, if you were actually a real person, but very helpful for the cops. Because when there is no anonymity, crime becomes very easy to solve. So Clive Owen plays a detective who comes across this woman, played by Amanda Seyfried, who basically is anonymous. She has figured out a way to hack into the system and erase herself from anybody's memory and from anything. So when you see her, when Clive Owen sees her, we get this heads-up display, his view of the street or whatever he's seeing, and each person's face comes up with a facial recognition. And so it will give their name and then details about them. When it comes to Amanda Seyfried, it's just error, unknown. So I really liked the concept of this film. I thought that it was kind of cool and maybe a little unique. I mean, it does really share a lot with Minority Report, so it's not totally unique, but I hoped it would be a little different and it would be intriguing. The heads-up display special effects were pretty cool, albeit a little distracting at times because there's so much information going on. There's no way in the world that me as a viewer can read everything that's going on the screen. So it's really kind of there just as an effect and to help bring it in so that I, as a viewer, understand what this person is seeing and all of the details that come through. Now, what was kind of cool is that you could access all of these old digital files. So when Detective Clive Owen questions somebody about something, he can just access their memory from their point of view, play it back in time, and see exactly what happened. It makes solving crimes super simple in that way because now I can question somebody, or I don't even have to question them. I can just know who they are, access them through the database, and then see everything that they saw. So that's pretty creepy that way. I mean, that is Big Brother to the extreme, right? I mean, George Orwell is like, see, I told you this was coming, except I don't think he could have ever imagined that. I didn't like, though, that the story was pretty much flat. It really didn't go anywhere quickly, or really, for that matter, anywhere. It was just your basic run-of-the-mill detective story with a slightly futuristic sci-fi feel to it. They put a slight social commentary throughout this film, and that's that we rely on digital so much to remember for us. That we have all of these digital photographs, we have all of these digital photo albums, we record all of this video, and a lot of the time we're paying more attention to the camera that we're using than what the actual action is that we're seeing or recording. And so we're not really forming a lot of our own memories, and because of that, they're stored someplace else. And when we don't think about them, they're not really in our head. They're just there, and so they're easily forgotten. And so there's a danger in that, because when we stop remembering, we kind of stop existing too, right? I mean, there's nothing about us. There's no past. There's nothing that makes us who we are, at least in that we remember. They illustrate this really well with Clive Owen because there's a tragedy that happens earlier in his life, and he replays these memories over and over. But they're not really memories. I mean, I guess they are memories. They're more in the way of a digital film, retelling it. So he's just rewatching it over and over again. But what happens if a hacker goes in and can erase these things? I mean, if I can erase my existence from something, then I can erase anything I want. And so that could become a very malicious act to start erasing somebody. Like I could erase a wedding day from somebody and they no longer can play that over in their minds. Well, if that's how reliant they were on it to watch that, to remember it, then it's not really in their memory. They're not actually remembering the memory. They're only viewing something. And then it's out of sight, out of mind, and they can't get those details back. So I guess the whole point of that is that we need to spend just as much time watching real life as we do watching what's on our camera and what we're recording. There is some video game type of violence in this. There's a lot of sex and a lot of nudity and a lot of profanity. So it's not very family friendly at all. Overall, I thought Anon was just kind of So I give it 2 out of 5 couches. Have you seen it? What did you think? I'd love to hear your comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please hit the like button and also don't forget to subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.